Hey everyone, this is a video highlighting my battles and Motiks' battles from the Continental Championship qualifier that we battled in a few weeks ago. Given that we had some time off between the faction cycles, we figured it'd be cool to talk a little bit about the Continentals Championship. I'm going to run down the meta. It was a really open meta. You had 6 slots pertaining to each of the regions, where the 6th slot was a combined Kalos, Galar, and Olola. So given that, you also had a restricted point total. And so the meta made for some pretty interesting looking teams, and it was really difficult to actually team build. So let's go ahead and check out some battles. Here in the first round, I had the opponent Durito leading Sableye here against the Charizard. I go ahead and swapped to my Alolan Grimer and shield up the Blast Burn. These poison jabs are going to add up. It's interesting that they bring in the Drifblim. Drifblim's not going to want to eat this crunch. Maybe my opponent was not too familiar with the Alolan Grimer moveset there. Gonna go ahead and no shield and commit to the farm here, able to do that before they get to another Icy Wind. Loaded up on energy here, expecting to see the Charger come right back in. Gonna go ahead and throw the Crunch. If that knocks out comes a Cast Form, and I have Scrafty. The core here for me was this Sableye Scrafty team. And it there weren't a lot of Charmers in the meta, so that's kind of why I went this route. So pretty good win there to start it off. Going into the second round, opponent Nightmare, a really good battler. I built my team thinking that not a lot of Altaria would be around, and I got paired up in the second round with someone running an Altaria. So here we see the Alolan Grimer against the Blastoise. Going to go ahead and no shield. Out comes that Altaria that I was very scared of, and my only real response is my Bronzong. Going to go ahead and shield this Sky Attack, even though it's resisted. It's not the cleanest of matchups either way. Obviously, the Dragon Breaths are resisted, but this Altaria is just pretty tanky and able to just continue to pressure the Bronzong. The Psyshock's not enough to KO. Out comes the Blastoise, able to get the Hydro Cannon on the Grimer. My Confusion won't be able to go through before the Dragon Breath, so I have to throw the Psyshock here, and hope that whatever's in the back is something that K9 can handle, and it is. Gonna just have to build up to about 2 Weather Balls here, get the shield, and get to another one just as they get to that crunch. Gonna shield it up, and able to eke out a win here against Nightmare. A battle against 907 Fill-In Kids. The Quillfish into Bronzong, bad lead. Safe swapping in Scrafty. The Scrafty had a lot of play against my opponent's team, so that's kind of why I was running it as the safe swap here. Gonna go ahead and shield. This foul play will do some damage and is able to knock out, so I can realign now, avoid the Quillfish against the Bronzong. Out comes this Vilas. Again, this Scrafty was a menace against my opponent's team, so it was going to do quite a lot of work here. Gonna go ahead and let the Body Slam through, bring out the Quillfish, and out comes my Alolan Grimer. The Alolan Grimer is like level 46 or 7, something like that. It is XL. It is something that was pretty good coverage in this meta, given its moveset. And came at the cost of just 1 point. It is a costly Pokemon though, but Not able to get to a move, but that's okay. I was pretty close to the Aqua Tail and able to knock out the Svilus. That is a GG. Highlighting another battle here against Bulk 88, really good battler. I'm running a slight variation of an ABB team with a double poison in the back, running Sableye lead, so I had 2 responses to Azumarill. Out comes his Alolan Grimer, and these Aqua Tails do chunk. Crunch does quite a bit of damage. Gonna go ahead and try and either win back switch or get the second shield. And I win back switch, which is really good. Let's see what they got. Bringing back out the Azumarill, able to farm me down. Have to respect a Hydro Pump here. Good thing I shield. Out comes the Swampert, Sableye. These Hydro Cannons do hurt. I have a shield. I should survive 1 if I shield this first one. Trying not to leave too much farm for the Azu, but also not let the Swampert through, so I'm going to have to throw. I throw the foul play, like I said, chip it down. Don't want it to get too much more energy. And I'm able to get to the Sludge Bomb and knock out the Azumarill. Battling Hot Pockets, the Alolan Grimer into Politoed. Not ideal given its spamminess, but I was expecting my Kanto Shadow Ninetales to have good play against the team, so as long as I get this Politoed out of the way, or have a shield advantage, I'm okay with that. I'm going to go ahead and let it go, and hoping that Scrafty and K9 here can do finish off. Must be double weak to Scrafty if they're bringing in the Celio. Gonna go ahead and shield this up just to see what is in the back, and it is the Bronzong. And not much my opponent can do here. Knock out the Bronzong with the foul play and counter down the Celio. And that's a good game. Polymer's up. The Alolan Grimer into Azumarill, really good lead here. Gonna go ahead and let this Ice Beam through. Out comes a Lucario, which kind of was a difficult thing to play around for me. I didn't have a direct answer for it since Scrafty does not like to take those counters. So I bring in the Sableye as the Shadow Claws do a decent amount of damage, and the Lucario isn't very bulky, so they are going to be shielding. It feels bad shielding these power-up punches, but I want to get this Lucario out of the way so that Scrafty can have play in the end game. In comes the Svilus, and just as I wanted the Scrafty line there. Gonna go ahead and let the Body Slam through. Going to expect them to try and catch. Yep. Some slight lag. I have no idea how many turns I lost there, but gonna go ahead and go straight Sludge Bomb here. Shield this up. Able to knock out the Azumarill. And I have quite a bit of energy here to throw at this Svilus. It is a CMP, but the Body Slam does not knock out. And able to counter down. That's a good game. Motiks also had to play Polymers Up, and Polymers Up actually ended up being a finalist, so a really good battler, and we both had to go through him here in this tournament. Here we see the Pelipper into a Jirachi lead. The weather balls do hurt this Jirachi. Gonna be able to at least pressure a shield here. Decides to shield, but he's at 2 Dome Desires, so is gonna have to let this one go or go down 2 shields. Yeah, lets it go. Gonna try and commit to the farm down here with Quag and hope that he can sweep endgame with the Quag and the Frostlass. Shields the Psychic. Gonna be able to throw 2 Stone Edges at this Vilas and get the last shield here. Not going to be able to get to another Stone Edge before they get to a Body Slam, so there's a really good play here. Catches the Body Slam on the Frostlass. Out comes Lucario. An interesting comp there. The Shadow Ball knocks out. And able to farm down this Vilas. That's a good game. Gonna see the second game here against Polymers Up. An okay lead. Pelipper can win this if it lands that Hurricane. They shield. Great catch with the Frostlass. Out comes the Jirachi. They're committing to the farm, but Frostlass able to get to another Shadow Ball and knock out the Jirachi. And now there's a 2-0 shield advantage with the Pelipper and the Quagsire here. Able to get to a Hurricane here against the Azumarill. Out comes the Lucario. It's just a power-up punch. Decides to shield. Gets to the Earthquake. Should be enough to knock out. Yep. And out comes the Azumarill. Has a shield. Can go ahead and let this go. He's pretty close to a Weather Ball on the Pelipper. Yeah. And that's a good game. Really good catches there by Motiks against Polymers Up in that matchup. Here we have Motiks against Tudito, who I also played earlier in the tournament. Here we see this Pelipper into the Alolan Sandslash. Lets this Ice Punch through. Gets a shield. Gonna go ahead and shield this one. Fantastic catch by the opponent here, catching the Weather Ball on the cast form. Not an ideal situation for Motiks here. The Quagsire is not going to enjoy taking the Weather Ball spam. Going Earthquake here. Gets the shield. Lets the Quag go, and hoping that Frostlass can sweep out this game. Shields. Has to shield. The Frostlass is the win condition here. Able to catch the Ice Punch on the Pelipper. Get some extra farm in here. And hoping that whatever's in the back isn't going to want to see the Frostlass with energy. It is Drifblim. Again, great overfarm here, knowing his counts. Avalanche knocks out, gets to the Shadow Ball, and the Frostlass goes off. Fantastic game by both players there in that game. Motiks against LK Flynn. Dragonair into Gallade. Decides to shield here. Some slight lag, but loses the CMP. And gonna go ahead and get some energy lead with the Quagsire. Out comes Gengar. we really are okay with seeing it here. Gonna go ahead and shield this. It's a Shadow Punch, gets to the Stone Edge. Able to knock out the Gengar. Skarmory. Not gonna like this Stone Edge, but can't really bring in the Frostlass yet, so gonna go ahead and let the Quagsire go down here. And should be in Avalanche range. And is able to win here. Motiks against a Teenage Wolf. Not an ideal lead. Gonna go ahead and at least try to get a shield advantage here, as that Haunter is going to probably be shielding everything. Lets the Shadow Ball through, bringing the Alolan Sandslash here. Letting the Shadow Punch go. Out comes their own Alolan Sandslash. With the energy lead and the shield advantage, gonna go ahead and go straight Bulldoze. And is going to go with 2 shield Frostlass here as the win con. Good farm here. Out comes the Quagsire. Keeping count of the Quag there to force CMP. Really good job. Once again, counting those mud shots to force a CMP on the Stone Edge. Out comes the Haunter. Knocks out the Haunter there and able to farm down the Quag. That's a good game. Frostlass is very, very good in end game there. Quagsire into Berserker. Now this Berserker looks like it's going to be a bit of a problem for Motiks' team. They go close combat, out comes Wigglytuff and Sandslash. Alolan Sandslash is an absolute wall against Charmers here. Straight Ice Punches. Out comes the Medicham. Gonna have quite a bit of energy here, and they're at a shield advantage, so it's gonna be kind of tricky to play around. Has to bait here. That Berserker's gonna have to shield. Yep. So respect the Earthquake. It is a close combat. Gets the last shield. Unable to get to a Stone Edge before they get to the foul play, and they're able to farm down. Gets to the Avalanche. This Psychic is going to hurt, but has to go Avalanche. Should be enough to KO, and that is a crazy game. That Frostlass did work. And that was the main highlights. Both of us went 3 and 4. We battled some really tough players. Hope you enjoyed some of these videos. We'll catch you next week when we highlight our normal factions games. So thank you for watching.